Please be seated. I would like to welcome IWP's class of 2026, as well as parents, family members, and friends. We are also so grateful to the faculty, staff, trustees, and supporters of IWP, as well as our special guests who are joining us today, including our honoree, Rear Admiral Paul Becker. My name is Ann Bradley, and I'm a professor of economics at IWP. It is my pleasure to be here today in this special moment where we celebrate the culmination of intellectual achievement and perseverance, and look with hope and great expectation as we celebrate our nation's future leaders who sit before us today. As our nation celebrates its 250th anniversary this year, I would like to begin this morning by recognizing our military and veterans who are here. Military and veterans, please stand if you are able. Thank you. I would like to invite all others to please stand again for the presentation of colors, the national anthem, and the Pledge of Allegiance. Today we welcome a color guard from the Hoya Battalion, Georgetown Army ROTC. We also welcome Captain Tim Field, IWP class of 2021, who will lead us in the national anthem.
And posters names.
Permission granted.
Sorry. Thank you, sir. Hogard, post colors. Ready, post. Ready, tuck. Freezed, arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last sleeting, who frost stripes and bright stars through the perilous spy? For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, arms.
Now, if you'll please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and the republic from which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
I would now like to introduce Captain Karen Meeker, a U.S. Army Colonel and former IWP Army War College Fellow, who will lead us in this morning's invocation. And our new board chairman, Mario Kranjak, will lead our investiture ceremony for our president, Chris Glass. You may sit down.
Let us pray. Almighty and gracious God, blessed is the nation who honors and serves you. In this year of celebrating 250 years of the United States of America, we are grateful to you and the courageous founders who stepped out in faith believing in the vision that you gave them, a vision for a country where all people could live at peace and pursue the purpose to which you created them. God bless the Institute of World Politics, its board, benefactors, president, faculty, staff, students, and alumni, as it seeks to raise up leaders of character and commitment who dedicate their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to lift high your lamp of liberty. Promote and position IWP graduates across all sectors of government and our nation, from quiet professionals to public figures. Oh God, may these graduates bring virtuous leadership and conduct, producing lasting peace, stability, and prosperity. May we rededicate our lives not to comfort, but to the noble pursuit of justice and truth, that we might pass on to the next generation the legacy of your kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. Grant an unwavering perseverance in the face of adversity and a resolute hope in all circumstances. What is too hard for you, O God? Nothing. As IWP has been, may it always be, confident in your wisdom, providence, and power. This I pray in your holy name. Amen. Congratulations, graduates. God bless you, and we'll see you on the high ground.
Greetings to the class of 2026, our trustees, faculty, students, alumni, supporters, and guests. Thank you for being here to celebrate our class of 2026, our doctoral masters and certificate graduates. This ceremony is also a milestone in the school's history. We are celebrating the investiture of our fourth president, Captain Chris Glass. This is truly a historic day, as Chris Glass formally accepts his role in leading this fine institution, a school that has played such a vital role for our country already and will continue to make a huge difference for security and sound leadership in a dangerous world. Chris and I are both IWP parents, and in this capacity, and as a trustee for 4 years, I have seen the impact that IWP has had both on our students and on our country's national security and foreign policy capabilities. The IWP education is unmatched in its field for several reasons. First, IWP has a serious mission. Our students study all the instruments of power and their integration. They graduate understanding their own specialty, but also the wider picture of how their area of expertise fits into the wider national security and strategy. They have learned these things from our faculty members who have done what they teach and understand the realities of what works and what doesn't in their fields. As a result, our students understand how to use the arts of statecraft to mitigate the need for kinetic warfare. We call this winning without war. Because many of our students and graduates go into positions of power where they may make life and death decisions, we require them to study the Western moral tradition so that they can be guided by moral philosophy when making difficult choices. They also study American founding principles so they can understand the philosophical underpinnings of the country they are defending or representing abroad. This also helps them understand the meaning of their work. They are choosing to serve a cause higher than themselves. It is an incredible school, and we are very fortunate to welcome an incredible leader as our president, Chris Glass. Chris is a veteran of naval intelligence and has served with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence and the National Maritime Intelligence Center. As such, he has vast experience in one of the most prominent fields that we teach at IWP. He has combined this with leadership in program management and contract support for the intelligence communities. Chris has also served in senior leadership at IWP for nearly a decade. For the last 4 years, he served as executive president, while Ambassador Aldona Bosch served as president. Chris managed staff, annual budgets, facilities, and institutional growth, contributing significantly to IWP's success. Chris is passionately committed to the founding mission of IWP. With Chris as president, IWP will continue to flourish, innovate, and achieve its mission ever more effectively. Chris, we have enormous confidence in you, and we are so pleased that you are at the helm. So, as chairman, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is my privilege to invest Chris Glass as the 4th president of the Institute of World Politics. We, the Institute of World Politics Board of Trustees, charge you, Christopher Glass, to lead the Institute in its mission of developing leaders with a sound understanding of international realities and the ethical conduct of statecraft, based on knowledge and appreciation of the founding principles of the American political economy and the Western moral tradition. We charge you to champion the pursuit of truth, to lead the school with wisdom, to strengthen our educational community, to be faithful to the charter, and to grow the Institute so that it may thrive for many years to come as it executes its mission. Captain Glass, this is the charge we make to you. Do you accept this charge and pledge to do your utmost on behalf of the Institute of World Politics?
Mr. Chairman, I solemnly affirm that I will uphold the charge given to me by the Institute of World Politics Board of Trustees and pledge to do my best to lead and serve IWP, so help me God.
By the authority of the Board of Trustees of the Institute of World Politics, I commit to your keeping the charter of the Institute. With this charter, we entrust you to uphold the IWP education and to embrace our emphasis on studying all of the arts of statecraft and their integration, the American political economy, and the Western moral tradition. The Institute of World Politics, MACE, is a symbol of the authority granted to you by the trustees of the Institute of World Politics to preside over the affairs of the Institute. Please accept the Institute MACE, presented to you by our founder and chancellor, Dr. John Lenchowski. Ambassador Aldona Bosch, the third president of IWP, and now President Emerita, will present the chains of office and the seal of the Institute of World Politics. With these symbols of the presidency, the Board of Trustees installs you as the fourth president of the Institute of World Politics. IWP students, alumni, faculty, trustees, and friends, I present to you President Christopher D. Glass, Sr.
Thank you, Chairman Kranjak, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and most importantly, graduates. It is an incredible honor to lead this school and continue its mission, which was conceived 36 years ago by our founder, Dr. John Lenchowski, and which is all the more relevant today. I would like to first thank our outgoing chairman, John Lovewell, who cannot be here this morning, who has faithfully served IWP as vice chairman and chairman for many years and continues his service on the board. He is a mark of true servant leadership, not only giving of his time, but his finances, and continuously a passion for this school and representing us well on the West Coast. I'm also most grateful to Mario Kranjak for his support of IWP and for taking on the responsibilities of the chairmanship. Mario, I look forward to working with you over the next however many years to come. I would also like to recognize Ambassador Dr. Eldon Doss, my predecessor, and my dear friend, for her tireless efforts over the last 4 years to ensure the success of our school. In addition to her outstanding leadership, thanks to Eldana, there are very few people in Washington, D.C. that have not heard of IWP. She is a whirlwind, and she has reached out to just about every single, not only command, agency, and embassy in this town. They know who we are. Thanks to you, Ambassador Paul. As I formally accept my role as president today, it is my great pleasure to be able to say a few words to you, the graduating class, who most of you I know very well, and others we have simply shaken hands when I've seen you sweating over the last several years as you got through this rigorous curriculum. Graduates, you are entering a crucial moment in our nation's history. As Chaplain Meeker pointed out a few minutes ago, as we celebrate America's 250th anniversary, we are in the midst of great power competition, some would say a Cold War, a regular warfare, technological disruption, and many other challenges. In facing these challenges, strategic clarity and moral seriousness are more necessary than ever. Thanks to your IWP education, you are armed with the philosophical tools to discern what is right, even in a changing world, with the intellectual honesty to see reality clearly and not as we wish it to be, with the practical wisdom to know what works, and with the humility needed to continue to learn, grow, and adapt. Thanks to your IWP education, you understand the instruments of power and their integration. You have all the tools to make a huge difference in our world, and we know that you will. And graduates, we need you to make that difference. You are entering a crucial field. Indeed, many of you are already serving in this field. As you continue your professional careers, I hope that you remember that you have a choice. As our founder, Dr. John Nichowski, who likes to point out, you can be a mission-oriented person or you can be a careerist. A careerist cares primarily about themselves, their own professional advancement, their salary, power, and recognition. But a mission-oriented person cares about a cause higher than themselves. Their goal is not to seek their own glorification, but to serve God, their family, their neighbor, their customer, and most importantly, their nation. They remember that the goal of strategy is the pursuit of peace and the protection of human dignity, born and yet to be born. This sense of purpose is reflected in their actions. They go the extra mile to achieve their mission, even if they will not get the credit. They are not afraid to speak truth to power, even when it is unpopular or outside the standard narrative. They had the courage to do the right thing, even when no one is looking. An outstanding book by Bill Hybels I recommend, Who You Are When No One Is Looking. If you've not already, you will soon be faced with the choice of what type of person you want to be. And your actions will show what you have chosen. I hope that you will choose to be a mission-oriented, to serve a cause higher than yourself. Our country and our world need your expertise. And even more, they need your prudence, your integrity, and your courage. Wherever you serve, whether it be in the government, the military, or the private sector, please remember that you carry a responsibility to our nation and to continue to pursue truth. IWP's motto is Veritas Vos Labeur Habit. The truth will set you free. Your IWP education has been a search for truth, and I hope it will serve as a foundation for a life of learning, service, and purpose as you move forward in your lives. Graduates, congratulations on your achievements, and I have full confidence that you will make great contributions to our nation, and we look forward to hearing many years from now those great achievements as you return as involved alumni. For our nation, for our country, and for all of us in your faculty and all of us up on stage, we wish you all the best and Godspeed. May the Lord bless and prosper everything that you put your hand to. Congratulations. It's my honor, and I am very pleased to introduce our keynote speaker, Rear Admiral Paul Becker, and to present him with the Doctorate of Laws honoris causa from IWP. Paul is a former Naval Intelligence Officer, senior executive, and board member with a unique combination of business, military, cybersecurity, and leadership experience. As the CEO of Becker T3 Group, he leverages an outstanding network of security leaders to provide insight into the national security trends and activities. Paul is a leadership professor at the United States Naval Academy and a former national security professor at the University of Virginia's Batten School of Leadership and Public Policy. He has successfully developed and implemented business and intelligence strategies for large and diverse international teams. Paul has served in peace, crisis, and combat with assignments in the Pacific, Southwest Asia, and Europe. From 2016 to 17, Paul led the Presidential President's Transition Intelligence Community Landing Team, which provided policy input, strategic guidance, and operational counsel to the new administration. His specific military service includes Director of Intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff, where he was the Principal Intelligence and Cybersecurity Advisor to the Chairman, the U.S. Pacific Command in Hawaii, the International Security Assistance Force Joint Command in Afghanistan, and Commanding Officer of the Department of Defense's largest Joint Intelligence Operations Center at the U.S. Central Command in Tampa, and Assistant Naval Attaché to France. Paul is also the reason why IWP has and enjoys the relationship that we have with the Pentagon and naval intelligence and the programs that he's initiated there, and has lectured at IWP on multiple occasions, primarily with our visits with the Army War College. Rear Admiral Becker is the recipient of the National Intelligence Community and Department of Defense's Distinguished Service Medals and the Ellis Island Medal of Honor. The Naval Intelligence Community recognized Rear Admiral Becker in 2016 by establishing the Teamwork, Tone, and Tenacity Leadership Award in his honor. We are very pleased to award him an honorary doctorate degree. Admiral Becker, would you please come through? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege now to introduce Dr. Paul Becker as he addresses us.
My mom always wanted me to be a doctor. So she'd be very happy. Yes, as am I. Especially honored is probably the right phrase to use. I'm glad we're making a big deal about this graduation, because this graduation is a big deal. And it's also the best dressed group of graduates and family that I've ever seen at such a graduation. So give yourself a well, here from up here on the podium, I could see the smiles, the energy, I feel the enthusiasm. This is how I know we're not on Capitol Hill. You know, we're a different part of DC. And before getting started and accepting this honor, I asked El Presidente, how many people does this room sit? And he said, well, I'm not sure, but just make sure it doesn't sleep 200. I said, you've got my promise on that. We're off to a great start. I liked everything I've heard in this program so far. National anthem, Pledge of Allegiance, prayer, servant leadership, ethics, truth. These are the right touchstones. I'm not sure how many other universities, have that sequence in the preamble to the actual receiving of the diplomas. And there's a lot of data points that shows you are on the right track. So
congratulations to you all. Before we go any further, I saw President Glass, my friend, got a mace. You know, that's not an easy thing to carry around, you know, by the looks of it. So I want to make sure in his new role as president that he has something that we're fond of giving in the military. When you can't give someone a medal because they haven't done anything yet, he's only been president, it's been like for a few minutes. They can't give him a cash award, that's just not what we do in the military. But you can present him with your personal challenge form, right? So here's one of mine from the Naval Academy, and El Presidente,
I'd be honored to be accepted as your president.
I should probably say something serious at this point. So, distinguished faculty, trustees, staff, proud parents, above all, the graduating class of 2026. Let me hear it, 2026. Mazel tov. You've done it. Right? You just completed one of the most rigorous, practical, and purpose-driven graduate programs in the world. Okay? You didn't just earn a degree, you've earned the right to be counted among the next generation of America's national security leaders. And let me tell you something, from 30 plus years in this arena, this is where national security careers begin. Okay. IWP is not just another policy school. It's the place that teaches the full arsenal of statecraft so that our nation can win without war. I stand before you today not as a theorist, but as a practitioner. I'm an old what's-his-name admiral who spent my entire adult life in naval intelligence leading teams, as Chris said, in different theaters of the world and different stages of conflict, but also as a diplomat for one tour, as the assistant naval attaché to France. But I've also been on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier in the Northern Arabian Sea during the opening days of Operation Enduring Freedom 25 years ago, to the battle cabins of Saudi Arabia at the start of Operation Iraqi Freedom, to commanding the Joint Intelligence Center, Central Command in Tampa. My favorite tour of all, Hawaii, yeah, at least location-wise, but also following the guns, just as you will follow the action, all right, of statecraft, and it led me time and time again to Southwest Asia. And finally, to the most dangerous duty station of them all, the Pentagon. For all those roles and all those deployments, the most important lesson I learned can be boiled down to 3 words. These are words that now carry my name on an award. They're easy to remember, they're good alliteration, and they apply specifically to you, IWP graduates from class of 2026. We call them teamwork, tone, and tenacity, or the 3 T's for short. Up to this point of your life, most of you have measured success by being able to fit in. But from here on out, your success is going to be measured on your ability to stand out. Not at the point of self-promotion, but of the opportunity to lead and serve, and to inspire others to achieve a noble common purpose. And the best way to stand out in that fashion, in any facet of national security and statecraft that you choose, is to demonstrate these 3 traits that are important to all practitioners of national security: teamwork, tone, tenacity. A brief comment on each area. The Naval Intelligence honored me with an award, but they didn't do it because I was the smartest intelligence officer they'd ever seen. They did it because in every high-stakes environment, those 3 principles prove that they can turn average into extraordinary teams. And today, as you leave IWP and the hallowed area of Embassy Row in D.C., the real world of intelligence awaits you: diplomacy, defense, statecraft. I want to hand off these same principles, these 3 T's, to you, because IWP has already given you the intellectual foundation to apply them. So, some T3 stories from the field. Teamwork. It's not a slogan. It's a deliberate creation of unbreakable trust and loyalty across differences of services, rank, nationality, and background. From 2009 to 2010, I commanded a 300-person multinational intelligence team across 37 countries in support of operations in the Middle East. We had Americans and every other nationality that was part of the International Security Assistance Force. The only way we succeeded was by demonstrating loyalty to each other. That's the foundation of teamwork. So that people would literally stay up all night to rewrite a target package for the 2nd or 3rd time and still volunteer for the next shift in the morning to see it come to a fruition, because in this case, statecraft had failed. That kind of trust doesn't happen by accident. It happens when leaders invest in every member of their team. Team before self, that's servant leadership. It's biblical in its foundation, but it's practical, where you practice statecraft. It happens when leaders invest in every member of their team, when they shed credit, when they own failure, and when they remember that the person who empties the trash at 0200 may be the one who spots the pattern of enemy activity that saves lives tomorrow. IWP taught you the same lesson in a different fashion through its scholar, practitioner, faculty, and its emphasis on coordinated statecraft. You study not just intelligence, but how intelligence must be paired with diplomacy and economic strategy and public relations and moral and ethical leadership. My definition of ethics is a short one. It's doing the right thing. Not just when people aren't looking, but especially when people are looking. And that takes courage. That's a real Aristotelian virtue. You have to do that right thing when people are looking and make a stand. That's teamwork and leadership by example at the strategic level. Let's go a little operational, man. Tone is the second multiplier. In crisis and combat, tone is a performance accelerator. When I was the senior battle cabin intelligence officer aboard an aircraft carrier in the opening air campaign in Afghanistan, the ops tempo was relentless. Missiles were flying, pilots were launching around the clock, and the pressure was crushing. The easiest thing in the world would have been to let fatigue turn negative your tone. Instead, I and many others made a conscious decision that every brief we'd give would end with optimism and energy, not fake cheer. Realistic optimism based on facts. That kind of tone becomes tenacious and contagious. I kept the watch floor sharp. I kept the aviators focused. And it reminded everyone that even in the darkest hours, we were part of something much larger. You will face the same choice in your careers, and it may not involve kinetics and weapons, but it may involve decisions of policy and statecraft. The cable traffic will be grim. The budget battles will be brutal. The headlines will even be worse. Your tone, your personal comportment when the poo hits the fan, right? Your refusal to let cynicism win. It'll either drain the room or you can twist it and electrify it. Okay, choose to electrify. And finally, tenacity. It's the third leg. It's not an equilateral triangle. You'll arrive in some situations where you need much more of one of these T's than the others. I know there's not a school of engineering, but I think that's called a scalene triangle. You'll have a lot of different shapes and sizes. But tenacity is not blind stubbornness, right? That's just enduring DC traffic or figuring out, which metro station's escalator it's not busted, right, this week. But tenacity is perseverance with purpose. In 2013, I was diagnosed with stage 4 bone marrow cancer. The doctors gave me months. It presented itself in my right femur, which was almost lost at that point. And you ask the classic dramatic question of your physicians in such a situation. And after a detailed nuclear imaging scan, it's called a PET scan, I asked, where else is it besides my leg? And the doctor said, it would be easier to tell you where it's not right now. I could have quit. My wife could have quit. My friends could have quit on me. Instead, we fought like the people of ethics and honor that we are, like the intelligence officer that I was brought up to be. I gathered every piece of data about this disease. I treated it like the enemy itself. I built a medical team. I didn't hire them, but they were all around me. I just needed to find out how to tap into their amazing knowledge and resources. We attacked the disease with relentless focus, the same type that I once brought to counterterrorism targets. I beat it. I came back stronger. I learned that tenacity is not about how long you endure. It's about refusing to let go of the mission. It's to be mission-oriented. Even when the odds look impossible. 2026, you will need that same tenacity. The threats we face today, strategic competitors, rogue regimes, transnational terror, cyber adversaries, they don't yield to half-ass measures. They require leaders who keep showing up, who keep learning, who keep adapting, and never lose sight of the ultimate goal, protecting the American people and the free world. That is mission-focused. So here's the beautiful part, 26. Everything IWP's drilled into you over the last 2 or 3 years is perfectly aligned with teamwork, tone, tenacity. You've all studied the instruments of statecraft, not in isolation, but in concert, so that America can win without war. And that is the ultimate expression of teamwork at the national level. You've all been immersed in American founding principles and moral leadership, because home without ethics is just manipulation. And IWP refuses to graduate leaders who would ever cross that line. I know. I've seen them out there for a decade plus. You've been trained by faculty who have actually done the work in the situation rooms, in the embassies, in combat. So your tenacity is informed not by theory, but by reality of your professors. And 94% of you will step directly into jobs that you trained for, at the State Department, at the War Department, in the intelligence community, some in the White House. And more than that, because this institution doesn't teach statecraft, it teaches you to practice and apply. So my charge to you today is simple. Go. Be that team that others want to join. Set the tone that lifts entire organizations. Lead with tenacity that turns the impossible into the inevitable. The world you're entering is more complex than ever, certainly more complex than the one I entered 33 years ago. Great power competition's back. Technology's moving faster than ever before. Adversaries are watching whether we, the next generation of American leaders, still believe in the principles that make our country exceptional. And that's exactly what we are. They will find out very quickly because you are that generation. You leave here today not just as graduates of IWP, you leave as the next guardians of American statecraft. Carry the flag with pride. Carry it with honor. Carry it with teamwork, tone, tenacity. Class of 26, your nation needs you. Your families are proud of you. This old Admiral's betting on you. So this is your time, class of 26. This is your time to stand out by putting together those 3 T's. Join the long line of your predecessors who are all heirs and heiresses, not to huge fortunes like the Rockefellers or the Vanderbilts or the Bloombergs, but you're all heirs to an American society of freedom and abundance and national security excellence. Others have fought and sacrificed for, but most of you are too young to have contributed to yet. Now, the 2 words you've really been waiting to hear. In conclusion, class of 26, I wish you all Godspeed and success as you graduate from fitting in to standing out by practicing teamwork, tone, tenacity as you go. And as we say in the nays, I wish you fair winds and following seas. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
The class of 2026 valedictorian is Jasper Clyatt. Congratulations, Jasper.
Good morning, Chairman Clyatt, President Class, Admiral Becker, faculty, alumni, students, and honored guests of the IWP. Hello there. When I was first asked to deliver this address, it was a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. I'm deeply honored to stand before you today. I'd like to thank my family, my friends, for their patience and support over the past few years. To the faculty and staff of IWP, thank you for building something exceptional, a program that treats national security as a moral vocation and not just a technical specialty. And to my fellow graduates, congratulations. One of the great rewards of a core curriculum like we have here is the camaraderie that it builds. Our programs may vary at the margins, but the core makes it easy to find common ground with any classmate or alumni. We've read the same authors, grappled with the same concepts, and endured the same HVAC issues in that back or what that left. But despite all these similarities, what makes IWP genuinely exciting is that we all arrived here from different places, bringing different questions and ideas with us. My favorite moments of any course would be when we would share term papers at the end of a semester, and my classmates would reveal their unique expertise and those ideas that they were exploring the rest of us. One of my classmates examined tensions in reunified Germany through the lens of regional soccer leagues and international sports diplomacy. Another traced the intelligence roles of women in counterinsurgency and national security. And another mapped the psychological principles behind effective propaganda. And across all of that diversity, the core puts us on equal footing with a shared intellectual and moral language. We may come from different places and heading different directions, but we always had that in common. I am fortunate enough to have studied under 2 core curricula during my graduate and undergraduate education. During college, the library where I would work displayed a large portrait of Dwight Eisenhower in academic prose. Before he was president of our country, he was the president of my school. Even though the slogan predates me by several decades, I can confidently say that I like Ike. And after reflecting on what I would say here to you today, I believe that Ike would have liked us here as well. In one of my first papers here at IWP, I wrote about Eisenhower's role in protecting cultural monuments during the Second World War. In May of 1944, a few weeks before the landing in Normandy, he issued a staff letter that read in part, "Shortly, you will be fighting our way across the continent of Europe in battles designed to preserve our civilization. Inevitably, in the path of our advance will be found historical monuments and cultural centers which symbolize to the world all that we are fighting to preserve. It is the responsibility of every commander to protect and respect these symbols whenever possible." Eisenhower understood that preserving the moral and cultural foundations of civilization is not a constraint on effective statecraft. Rather, it is effective statecraft. When we compromise our principles for convenience or tactical gain, we concede something not easily recovered on the battlefield or at the negotiating table. What we must do instead, what IWP has equipped us to do, is adapt to reality without sacrificing decency, to hold the line between what power can accomplish and what our principles demand. The audience were our condos, allies, adversaries, and the next generation of public servants, is always watching to see whether that line pulls. The world we're entering is complex, and the decisions that we make will be consequential. The virtue of prudence that we developed here, realistically driven but morally grounded, is what we will carry forth in our coming endeavors. I look forward to seeing what we all accomplish, and I will watch your careers with great interest. So, congratulations, Class of 2026. This is where the fun begins.
Now I say congratulations to the Class of 2026.
We now have a message from the Alumni Board President, Captain Wendell Bryant, Class of 2023.
Congratulations to the graduates and welcome to the IWP community. I could talk about passion and conviction, but instead I will start with a quote I heard very recently. You vote on what you care about. Leaders vote with their time. If you care about it, be there. Take time to invest in people and be invested in by people. Surround yourself with those who will accelerate you. You've probably heard this before, but I'm going to say it as I really usually. If you surround yourself with 5 people, let's say 5 businessmen, you'll be the next. If you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. If you surround yourself with 5 good families, you'll have it the 6th. And of course, if you surround yourself with 5 intelligent, engaged American patriots, you'll be the 6th. IWP provides the opportunity to be surrounded by all of these types of people. To put this into perspective, the quality of education for college to college is much less of a factor in the modern world that it used to be. When you purchase Harvard, Yale education, the most meaningful thing you have bought is access to the network of people from those institutions. IWP provides you access to a niche network in the global seat of power. Your education has rooted you in the foundations of American exceptionalism, provided you the intellectual tools to move rapidly
beyond your peers and has significantly enhanced your critical thinking skills. Combine these things with a network of like-minded people who have yours and this country's best interest in mind, and you will climb as far as you desire. To showcase the power of the alumni network, I have two amenities. Immediately following my class's graduation, 3 individuals out of my class joined the same agency. Within 6 months, they had fostered a powerful team based off of both friendship and professionalism. The connection and friendship that was fostered during a time at IWP allowed them to rapidly change a boring work environment into something their entire department wanted to be a part of. That group of coworkers is now larger than 1. The second, and probably more interesting to new graduates, was that we recently started an IWP run club. And on that very first run, about 8-9 weeks ago, a conversation over a beer was had between 2 alumni. A job had opened up. Last week, said alumni started their new job, jumping their pay from $105,000 to $165,000, better hours, and full benefits. I saw that one happen in real time before my eyes. A 10-minute conversation changed the person's life forever because he was an IWP alumni and used the network. IWP is like a family, and like a family, we would love to see and hear from you. Do not waste the network you have access to today. On that note, we had a happy hour coming up on May 20. At 5:30, this is going to be a special one at the Army Navy Club here at DC, so please help. To everyone in attendance, please consider supporting IWP financially, joining the Chancellor's Council, and attending our gala in honor of America's 250th birthday on October 8th. Congratulations again, and welcome to the team.
You're right. I would like to ask the graduates to please stand and then turn around and face your family and friends. It is with great pride and joy that I present to you the class of 2026. This concludes our ceremony for today, so it's time for a little party, don't you think? You may now join us for that reception upstairs in the colonnade room and courtyard outside. Congratulations and Godspeed to you all. And we ask that everyone remain seated until the recession is complete. Thank you.
I didn't recognize Dr. Thomas.
Mm.